throwaway because she knows my main. I'm literally shaking while typing this. I, 32M, think my world just imploded. Here is the breakdown of how my perfect marriage to Jen, 30F, turned into a literal horror movie in 48 hours. We've been married for 6 years. Jen has always been high maintenance, she calls it having standards, but lately, she's been acting like I'm a servant she's planning to fire. About 3 months ago, she started working late at her marketing firm. Suddenly, she was too tired for date nights, too busy to text back, and if I even asked how her day was, she'd snap at me for suffocating her. The personality shift was jarring. She started buying expensive lingerie that I never saw her wear. When I mentioned it, she rolled her eyes and said, "God, Dave, not everything is about your libido. I'm doing this for my self-esteem." Then came the phone. She started taking it into the shower. Who needs a TikTok fix while scrubbing their hair? I felt like a paranoid jerk for even wondering. Last weekend, she told me she was going to a spa retreat with her college friends. She was so frantic about packing, checking her reflection every 5 seconds, and barely gave me a peck on the cheek before sprinting to her Uber. I felt a pit in my stomach, but I told myself I was being insecure. I even sent her a "have a great time, honey" text. She left it on read. The aha moment was painfully cliché. She forgot her iPad at home, and it was synced to her MacBook. A notification popped up while I was using the kitchen counter. It wasn't from a girlfriend. It was a message from a guy named Marco that said, "The hotel bed feels empty without you. Hurry up, babe." My heart didn't just drop, it felt like it evaporated. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. The message thread was a graveyard of our marriage. Photos of them together, photos taken on days she said she was at the office. Videos of her laughing in a way she hasn't laughed with me in years. And the way she talked about me? She called me the anchor around her neck. She told him she was only staying until her year-end bonus cleared. I saw the hotel confirmation in her email. She wasn't at a spa 3 states away, she was at a boutique hotel 20 minutes across town. I sat in my car in that parking lot for 4 hours. When they finally walked out of the lobby, she was leaning into him, glowing. I took high-res photos of them kissing by the valet stand. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. I beat her home. When she walked through the door 2 days later, acting exhausted from her spa trip, I was sitting in the dark in the living room. I didn't say a word, I just turned on the lamp and showed her the photo of her and Marco. For 2 seconds, she looked like she'd seen a ghost. Then, the mask came back on. Instead of crying or apologizing, she went on the offensive. "How dare you track me," she screamed. "This is exactly why I did it. You're obsessive and controlling." She claimed Marco was just a friend who was supporting her emotionally because I was emotionally unavailable. She actually had the nerve to tell me that her cheating was my fault for not making her feel special enough. As I pressed for the truth, the lies got more ridiculous. First, she said they only kissed. Then, she said they'd only met up once. When I told her I'd seen the months of messages on her iPad, she switched tactics. She claimed she was testing me to see if I'd fight for her. It was a dizzying display of gaslighting that made me feel like I was losing my mind. The bitch's side really came out when I asked her to leave. She laughed. "I'm not going anywhere. I pay half the mortgage, and honestly, you're lucky I even came back to this boring house." She started throwing my things out of the bedroom, telling me to sleep on the couch because she needed her space to process my betrayal of her privacy. The next 24 hours were a blur of nausea and rage. I couldn't eat. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together. I felt like a failure. I kept asking myself, was I really that bad of a husband? I went from wanting to beg her to stay to wanting to pack my bags and disappear. The betrayal wasn't just the sex, it was the fact that she had spent months making me feel like the crazy one. I called my brother, and he talked me off the ledge. He reminded me that normal people don't do this. He helped me realize that her behavior, the coldness, the insults, the secret life wasn't a reflection of my worth, but a reflection of her lack of character. I stopped listening to her voice and started looking at her actions. I realized there was no working on it. You can't fix a marriage with someone who isn't even sorry. I waited until she went to work the next morning, called a locksmith, and changed the codes. I called a lawyer and had the papers drafted by noon. I didn't want a break. I wanted an exit. When she realized she was locked out, the sweet Jen tried to come back. She sent dozens of texts crying, saying she made a mistake and that Marco meant nothing. When I didn't respond, she went back to being nasty, threatening to take everything in the divorce. I blocked her. I'm communicating only through my lawyer now. It's expensive, but the silence is worth every penny. I'm sitting in an empty house now, and honestly, it's the first time I've breathed properly in months. My advice to anyone reading this: trust your gut. If the vibes are off, they are off for a reason. Don't let someone make you feel crazy for noticing they've checked out. And most importantly, when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, make sure to leave a like and visit the channel for more content.